So I'm Shari. I currently work as a research fellow at the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine at the Centre for Evaluation. But when I co-authored this report, I was an evaluation officer at 3IE. And the London office at 3IE really focuses on systematic reviews and knowledge synthesis. And so this piece of work actually was meant to be a friendly front end, is what we called it, a front end to a systematic review that we had funded. So the topic, basically, education interventions to improve learning outcomes and school attendance is very, very broad. So we felt that it was really important to provide some kind of overview that was a bit more policy relevant and accessible, and that different user groups could look at and easily access information from about school effectiveness. So we looked at about 85 individual studies that looked at interventions that we kind of grouped into supply and demand side. So on the supply side, it was like actually building schools or providing materials, resources, chalkboards, textbooks, or even additional teachers. And on the demand side, we looked at two different streams. So increasing preparedness, so things like providing school meals or doing nutritional interventions in schools, even providing eyeglasses for reading, as well as interventions that reduced costs, so conditional cash transfers and scholarships and vouchers, and so on. And we looked at outcomes at two different levels. We looked at sort of just at school attendance, enrollment, grade progression, and then dropout. And we also looked at test scores, so math and language test scores and reading ability. And out of those 85 studies, I think we could only really say with a lot of confidence that conditional cash transfers worked very well at increasing school enrollment and attendance. The other interventions, we just didn't have a lot of individual studies to be able to make that call. So it looked like a lot of things were effective, but that was only based on 2, maybe 3 studies. And so if you look at the report, we have categories where we say this is what works, this is what's promising, this is what doesn't work, this is where we need more research. And really, a lot of the interventions fall into promising and needs more research. So we definitely aren't ruling anything out. Overall, it's a good story, and all of these interventions seem to work in general. But yeah, so CCTs are really good at getting kids into school. And one of the kind of limitations or challenges is that when you're looking at learning outcomes and test scores and grades and things, it's when you have an intervention that increases enrollment, there's a school of thought that thinks that this actually kind of inhibits the ability of a class to bring up its grade average, or for children to do well on test scores, because then that sort of increases the number of students, and you've still got the same number of teachers, and you've got new students coming in that are maybe at a lower baseline in terms of their learning ability from the get-go, and so that could bring down class averages. So we didn't find any negative outcomes, but we did think that one of the reasons that we didn't see enough or a big positive outcome on learning outcomes was because of this effect of having more children, fewer teachers, and maybe some limited ability. But yeah, overall, it's a success story, but as I said, it's a huge topic, and I think moving forward, we would like to see more sort of focused systematic reviews, so ones that only looked at CCTs, that only looked at providing additional teachers. And I think also it was really important to focus on teacher quality as well, because we found that a lot of the interventions kind of let teacher quality, didn't really measure teacher quality enough, and we thought that could be a really important mediating factor for some of these interventions.